about what education you have, Mr. Crosby?
Yes, I have a bachelor's in hotel and hospitality management.
Okay. Do you have any additional certifications?
Yes, I'm certified in training for STOP, and I also have my mixologist certification.
And what work experience do you have in that field?
Currently, I'm the general manager at a restaurant called Michigan Mike's. I'm also a STOP trainer, and prior to that, I was a general manager at another restaurant.
Do you have any publications in that field?
Yes, I have 3 different publications.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like to move to admit Mr. Crosby as an expert in hospitality and the service of alcohol. Mr. Crosby, are you familiar with tips?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it used frequently in the hospitality industry?
Yes, ma'am. TIPS stands for Training for Intervention Procedures. It is one of the systems used in the hospitality for serving alcohol to others. The other main one actually being STOP.
So are STOP and TIPS similar?
They're functionally similar, yes.
What does TIPS train its employees in?
TIPS, as I said, its main goal is to educate servers who are going to serve alcohol on the methods for noticing who's visibly intoxicated and methods for refusing service.
How long had it been since the employees had been trained in TIPS at Montana Max's from the time of the accident?
Based on my review of the different depositions and the facts, it had been at least 5 months since Montana Max's had trained their employees in TIPS.
Now, were all the employees trained in TIPS?
Again, based on my review, they tried to train most of their employees, but like I said, they hadn't trained them in 5 months, and they have what's known in the industry as shot girls, who are rarely trained because of their high turnover.
And what did you review in preparation for this case?
I reviewed all the depositions of Max Petunia, as well as the deposition of Al Overton. I also reviewed the evidence that might be possible at admitting her.
According to those materials, what were the events of that night?
Well, based on my understanding, Al Overton met up with some friends at the bar at Montana Max's at around 10:30 p.m. on the night of January 7th. Al Overton was there to celebrate his 21st birthday. While there, he and his friends were talking about doing 21 shots to celebrate the 21st birthday. When they didn't get around to that, they moved on to trying to get shots from each of the shot girls that was there. My understanding is that there were 8 shot girls there, and that they were trying to get at least 1 shot from each of them. While they were trying to do that, Al Overton had at least 6 shots I know of, and they eventually got into, when I say they, I mean Al Overton and his friends, got into a fight that was loud and raucous and ended up in getting Al kicked out of the bar. He also at some point vomited, stumbled into waitresses, knocked over trays, got into another fight with the bartender before showing his keys and being escorted out.
Okay, and what happened after he was escorted out?
After Al Overton was escorted out, he got into his car, eventually left the parking lot, at which time he ran into the side of Mr. Chase. Mr. Chase.
Did the employees hear the boast from Al Overton about taking 21 shots?
Yes, based on the review, they did. They were able to hear that.
At the point where Max's employees and Max Petunia overheard Al was taking 21 shots, what would the reasonable bar owner have done in that situation?
A reasonable bar owner should have kicked them out at that point. That's a boast that it promotes an unsafe experience for all people, all patrons in the bar.
I see. Because it was Al Overton's 21st birthday and he hadn't been drunk before, would the alcohol have affected him differently?
Well, alcohol affects everybody differently to start off with. Somebody that has no experience with alcohol is going to be more susceptible to the effects of of the alcohol just because they have no prior experience with it.
And all the alcohol that Al consumed that night, did he consume that alcohol at Montana Max's?
Yes, all of the alcohol consumed by Al Overton was consumed on premises of Montana Max's.
And did Max Petunia know, or should he have known, that Al Overton was intoxicated?
Yes, it's clear from the facts of the case that Al Overton was showing signs of being intoxicated. He was getting into fights. He was stumbling around. He was knocking over trays. All of these are clear signs of intoxication that Montana Max's or its employees should have recognized as being visibly intoxicated.
At any point, did Max Petunia's actions fall below the standard of care for a bar owner?
Yes, as I said, that Al Overton was already showing signs of being visibly intoxicated, and Montana Max's continued service of alcohol falls far below the reasonable care, and seeing that he was visibly intoxicated, allowing him to leave while showing his keys and not calling him a ride is another lower than quality of care that they should have been performing.
Did Max's actions regarding his employees fall below the standard of care in any way?
Yes, there's also only training every 6 months, while that may seem somewhat reasonable, is not frequently enough for an industry such as this where there's such high turnover. Furthermore, just flat out not training their shot girls is not reasonable.
Was there any opportunities for Max to have prevented this accident?
Yes, there were multiple opportunities. One being to stop serving Al Overton as soon as he became visibly intoxicated. The other being that they could have given him a ride or not allowed him to leave. And also just merely kicking him out at the time of making the boast would have been proper.
Could Max have prevented this accident?
Yes, this accident could have been easily prevented by merely following the TIPS training procedures.
Okay, thank you.